Hey there, friends. What is up? I'm Chris Ewing, educator, fabricator, and today's pitmaster. I'm coming to you from my high school classroom at the William D. Ford Career Tech Center in Westland, where me and my high school students built this 200-gallon smoker on a trailer. Let's take a little tour. So this was the first major brown pants moment, cutting into a giant cylinder that you hope has been completely emptied. You can see that hose going into the tank. Instead of purging with water, we purged with inert gas to make sure that there was no oxygen to cause a fire inside there. Now we're adding some legs to the tank so that it can stand up on its own instead of having to be held up by the crane or the high-low, however it was sitting before. This just gave us a good platform to start working on. Once that first crescent shape was cut into the tank, we could cut and weld on it. Here we're cutting the doors into it without having to worry about the tank blowing up on us, which would be very bad, both for me and the students that you can see working on it. And here you can see we've got the oxy-fuel torch back out again. We're doing a little heat and beat on these 1/2-inch round stock pieces to turn them into hinges for the doors that we were just cutting into the tank. I'm making a little offset bend on here so that we can go around the flange edge that helps seal in the smoke. Got some cool screwed in flanges. Here we see a student sealing up the inside of the smokestack as well as it being welded outside to make sure no smoke escapes. One of the fun parts about allowing students to do the cuts is you have these great big gaps to fill in. Well, it's practice anyway. And sealing up that firebox from the inside as well so no smoke gets out. Cheese. The tech center here has a firefighting EMT class, so all these young students are here to monitor the fire that's going inside the firebox right now. Now we light it inside of that cook chamber like that to burn out any chemical residue that might still be there and to help peel the paint off the outside to make it easier to clean. Now this trailer was designed to be foldable, but we don't want that, so here we weld it solid. There's the TA, Mr. Rolf, showing just how balanced and light the trailer is. And here I am with the final step, wiring up our lights. Hey there, friends. What is up? Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to watch another awesome Weld.com video. We love what we do here, but obviously couldn't do it without the help of our sponsors and partners like Easy Ground Floor Coatings. Easy Ground is fast and easy, perfect for do-it-yourselfers or the trained professional. It's got low solvents and VOCs, tire mark and salt resistant, so up here in the Midwest, those winters, it's a good thing. It's damp substrate friendly and it's got great chemical resistance, so when you have those oil change mistakes, they happen. Cleans up in a snap. You can use it in your garage, your basement, utility room, laundry room, well, basically anywhere you're looking for a nice looking floor. Need a little extra grip? They got you covered. Sprinkle sand throughout the install process and you've got a nice textured grip, non-slip. Want it to look nice? Well, they got you covered there too. You get their colored chips and salt bay them bad boys throughout while you're putting it down. You got a pretty floor, grippy floor, and a happy life. If you're looking to update your space with a fresh look that's easy to maintain for years to come, give Easy Ground a try. Back to welding. All right, so let's put first things first. Here you can see this fancy red, previously foldable trailer that came directly from a particular hardware store that was about 550 bucks and a great place for us to start with something that we had never done before. We were also provided this cylinder. Most times you would think, hey, that's probably a propane cylinder. This one actually happened to be an anhydrous ammonia cylinder, which I had to Google to figure out is used for fertilizer. But trailer, tank, kind of the two main parts that you need to get started with this. You could build your own trailer. You could make your own tank if you've got the capabilities of doing that, but getting a decommissioned propane or some other tank like that is probably the easier way to go. Here we can see we've got some old decommissioned chipping hammer handles for handles. We've got these, I think it's what, 2.5, 3 inch, something like that, counterweights that also act as door stops when it gets to the other side there. We open up, we've got 2 sliding racks in the top that we can just lift and pull out. Now these racks are made out of expanded metal and some 1/2 inch angle iron to make a frame so you don't cut yourself on the expanded, which is always a danger when working with expanded metal. Then you can see we've got our main cook surface, so the end pieces are all tacked in permanently, but we've got some slide out shelves. Make loading and unloading a whole heck of a lot easier, and if you need to make it any better, they lift out just like that. You can lift those right out, eat clean, and easy access to the interior. All right, so I'm sure somebody will ask, maybe, hopefully, probably. It's roughly a 200-gallon tank, and right across the center point is where I've got my first cook shelf, which measures out to right around 29 inches across there, 29.5 or so, with the surface area of the top racks and the whole bottom cook surface. This has roughly 2,800 square inches of cook surface. All right, checking out the interior a little further, you'll notice that we've got some plates underneath here. Yeah, they're a little rusty, but they should work just fine for what they're supposed to do. So you might notice that we can move all of these in and out of the way. We can actually use them as tuning plates, or they're sometimes called baffle plates. What this does is allow the smoke to come underneath all of those baffle plates before traveling back around and heading up the smokestack. All right, the type of smoker requested was a reverse flow offset smoker. So on a lot of these guys, you might see a firebox on one side and your smokestack on the other side. So that allows all your smoke to come in, fill up your cook chamber, and pass its way on up the smokestack. In this particular design, the smoke enters the cook chamber and has to pass underneath all of those baffle plates before circling back to come up and out. From my understanding, which I am no expert on this matter, that allows for a little bit more even heat distribution. You get a little bit of radiant heat off of those baffle plates. And the cool part is, if you remove baffle plates here, then the smoke starts traveling back up and out the smokestack here. You only have to use half the grill. You don't have to worry about trying to fill the whole dang thing up. All right, so speaking of smokestacks, I believe this one came from a decommissioned gas cylinder of some sort. It's roughly 6 inches in diameter. And then we have, again, our little chipping hammer handle that actuates our open and close mechanism for our smokestack. It works. All right, now I agonized over how exactly I wanted to do the firebox for latching it and air vents for quite a while. As far as the size of it, really have to thank the guys over at smokerbuilder.net. I did not reach out to them. They did not sponsor or chat with me at all. I didn't have to. They have so much available in forums And in calculators that based on the size of my cook chamber, I was able to calculate the volume required for my firebox as well. So supposedly these should pair up perfectly. Now as far as how to open and close my firebox and how to do my ventilation for airflow, that was all custom fab, custom thought up. What we ended up doing is putting another one of these fancy chipping hammer handles onto a screw, and that screw is tacked between a couple of washers, allows me to tighten this as tight as I want without having to put any kind of gasket material on here. Moving over to our airflow side, these allow us to tune as little or as much air as we want to come through. And again, even these cutout sizes were measured using Smoker Builder's calculators. Move it to where we want. Again, these are screws, so we tighten them in place. They're not going to come moving away from where they're supposed to be. We can see that the same 1/2-inch angle that I used for making the shelving units inside the cook chamber is what I've used to capture a piece of 1/4-inch material so that it slides on it like a little trap. On the hinge side, again, just took some 1/2-inch round stock, bent it around the front of the door and down into a piece of tubing. I've got 2 hinges on there. That design, where both of the hinges are out of the top, allow me to take this door off entirely should I want to do that for any reason. That hinge design is very similar to the ones that I have on the cook chamber doors. The difference being I put the inside hinge inside of both of the tubes, so there is no removing these doors without cutting those bad boys off of there. Opening up the inside of the firebox, we can see we've made this nice little basket to go inside of there, and it sits a few inches short of that inside cook chamber. So you can see the cutout, it's like a semicircle there, matches up just right to the cook chamber to allow all that smoke to flow underneath those baffle plates. Coming around the back side, you can see we've got some storage for some coolers or wood or whatever else you wanted to put here. More of the same expanded metal and 1/2-inch angle that we used for the inside of the cook chamber, as well as a little bit more tongue storage. All right, cheap swing away tongue jack. Nothing fancy there. This one I think came from Home Depot actually. Crank that guy down so that I can showcase. Each corner has its own leveling leg. So just happen to have some of this square tubing with the holes in it laying around. I was able to cut some sections and find some square tubing that slides pretty perfectly inside of there. Just throw a bolt through there. Now it's up for travel, or we can put it back down, and drilling some holes in some random locations on it has allowed us quite a bit of variability on where that ends up. Put a little nut on the back side there just to keep that screw from coming out of there. Lower it right back down on its little padded foot. So another one of the benefits of buying, I won't call it a pre-assembled trailer because we had to put it together ourselves, but a pre-packaged trailer, is that it came with our lights, with the turn signals built into it, all the wiring for everything. Came with the fenders and the wheels. Now these fenders were mounted precariously, to say the least. So if we're gonna mount this up here to get it away from the firebox on both sides, we went ahead and put some more of that 1/2-inch angle on the front and back side of that. So it's pretty rigid at this point. Don't think that taillight's going anywhere. All right, so tonight is gonna be the first time actually firing up and using this thing. Because this is a high school class, I have 2 sessions, an AM and a PM, and both worked on it, and I want both to be able to appreciate and participate in some delicious smoked meats, which means that early AM class gets some brisket for breakfast. That also means that I get to stay overnight and run the dang thing. We were nice enough to get some red oak supplied to us from Frank's Firewood here in Canton, Michigan. So shout out to them, and we'll document and see how that goes. All right, good evening there, friends. As you can see, it's about time to start this bad boy up for the first time. It's about 7:30 on Thursday evening. So once I get this up and running, get this preheated, I'll be trimming the meat in the meantime. Hopefully it'll be ready to go for the youngsters in the AM. Gonna start these little tumbleweed things and then set our charcoal chimney on top of it there. Bugs are already getting to me. So we've got our natural fire starters and our natural hardwood charcoal. But of course, as a welder, there's only one real way to start a fire. So let's do that. Not sure how important a neutral flame is to this process, but okay, so once this charcoal starts to get pretty white hot, we can go ahead and empty that into our basket. We'll put the basket inside the firebox. That's when we'll start adding our hardwood in. Ooh, I can't wait. All right, so you might not have noticed, maybe you did, there are no thermometers on the doors or anything of this cook chamber. And it's not necessarily on purpose, I just haven't had the time to purchase it yet. So what we'll be using to monitor the temperature instead, thanks to COVID, we ended up with one of these fancy Perfect Prime infrared visual thermometers. So I can take a little picture and I can see in real time. Basically get to watch this thing like the frickin' Predator. Let's see, right now, that coal base is well over 1,000 degrees. The log is coming up to about 400 degrees. You can see the smoke is starting to come into the chamber. And, oh, that's really cool. So I can see down on the firebox side, about 180 degrees. Way over on the other side, about 93 degrees right now. This is gonna be really cool. About 200 degrees. I've had the door open for a minute. And so we're about 230 on this side, so I'm gonna load it in on that side. And here goes nothing. We're gonna go fat side down because this is the first run on this guy. Hopefully that fat will make a little bit of a non-stick surface. just like that. Y'all getting a video of this?
Got it.
Let's document this.
Mama.
Look at that steam. Look at that steam. Look at that bark.
Resting for like 2 hours?
Take it all in. Take it all in.
Was it worth the night?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
First bite goes to the chef.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh my God. He's ascended to heaven. Leave him down. Leave him alone. He's in heaven. Wow. Look at that meat. Juice. Oh wow, look at that color.
All right, how does it taste?
Amazing.
All right, friends, that's gonna wrap up this particular episode. Yeah, I know I didn't go through the full build of the thing, but again, my first time building a smoker of any kind, my first time using a smoker of any kind. I was very nervous about that 15-hour brisket smoke as to whether it would turn out good or not. Super happy, it was delicious. Now I'm gonna have to build one of these things for myself because dreaming of that heavenly smoked brisket is gonna haunt me until I can have it again. Obviously, being a newbie to this, I'm open to recipes. If you got comments, questions, go ahead and drop those in the comment section and be on the lookout for that new Weld app coming your way. Until next time, hope this helps.